Today's preaching, right, brought back all the old memories of my school days and college days. I'm kind of a guy who, even though we know the complete exam schedules, but during the last minute, I take all the reference books, college, and then start studying. Majority of you guys will be like that. But the same thing happened, right? When pastors sent me the initial list, right? That was almost a month ago, I remember, right? I know that I'm going to preach on third Sunday, okay, time is there, and then slowly, right, by the time it came up, right, pastor called me up, right, reminding that you remember, right, tomorrow you're going to preach on it, okay? So that's when I started collecting all the notes and everything, and thanks for bringing back the reminder. Today's verse, right, that was given to us is Luke 2nd chapter 49. Why were you so children? Instead of just concentrating on that particular verse, I thought I would take the whole passage itself and then maybe break it down and then try to give as much information as possible. Right? I'm going to read the passage once again. It's every time we read the Bible passage, it gives another dimension or another meaning towards it. Right? The title of the passage says, "The boy Jesus at the temple." Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. But they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in fear of God and man. When I read through these scriptures, right, the first thing that came to my mind also when the pastors set across this verse to me, right, you guys must be familiar with the movie Home Alone, right? Most of the people would have watched the Home Alone movie. I'm not talking about the first part. This is about the second part of Home Alone movie, where this boy, right, who is the similar age of Jesus, was supposed to go with their siblings and parents to Florida for their vacation. Okay, this guy will get lost in the airport, and then the family will come to know that this guy has been lost after reaching to Florida place. And this guy accidentally will get on to New York flight and get to a completely a different place, and then will spend across the night. So as soon as I read the scripture, right, my mind was trying to relate this incident to something, right, and this is what the movie immediately came to my mind as such. This is about a similar kind of boy, right? One of the significance of this scripture is that, right, Luke, who is one of the gospel author, is the author for both Luke, book of Luke, as well as Acts of the Apostle, which contains the 25% or almost to the 25% of New Testament, right? And Luke is the only one who touches the childhood memories of Jesus, right? Who is the only gospel author who has written about this childhood moment, where none of the other three guys did not write anything about it. Luke, being a physician, right, tries to give a lot of eyewitnesses to Lord's miracles, whereas the other three gospel authors give it, but not to an extent that Luke gives it. Maybe he's a physician is giving it, right? And one of the other distinctive point is Luke is a non-Jew, whereas the other three gospel authors are Jew by birth and Jew by their practice and such. So coming back to the verse, right? The first verse. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of Passover. Right? What is this festival of Passover? During those days, Israelites, right, are given three major festivals: Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacles. Passover is considered one of the major festivals, and also all these three festivals is mandated for all the Israel males to attend. And the Passover is considered as one of the major festivals that everyone needs to attend as well. What does this Passover means? Passover is nothing but it is a remembrance of God's blessings that He took the centuries old slavery people from Israel, right, and he took them into the Red Sea, right, and then give them the freedom of land. This is to remember that particular instance. This Passover festival is being conducted, and that too, right, it is mentioned in Deuteronomy chapter 16 from verses 1 to 2. Observe the month Abib and celebrate the Passover of the Lord your God, because in the month of Abib He brought you out of Egypt by night. Sacrifice as the Passover to the Lord your God an animal from your flock or herd at the place the Lord will choose as a dwelling for His name. So that means Passover needs to be celebrated in a place where God has approved it. Here, Jerusalem is considered as a place of approval where God has approved this place to celebrate the Passover. So that's the main reason, right? All the people nearby travel to Jerusalem to celebrate this festival of Passover. One of the other main reasons is this is a custom that all the Israeli people follow, right? So these both Mary and Joseph have made it in a way that every year they go to this Passover festival to attend with their family. So. And also, Passover is a festival where it has been given by our Lord a promise that He will send across a Messiah to free all the sins, right? That is one of the remembrance also that is considered for Passover. So, Passover is not only for the past, which God has freed the Israeli people from the slavery, but also the promise that He has made that He will send across a Messiah to free them from all their sins. The second verse, right, talks about when He was 12 years old. Here He refers to Jesus, right? When He was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. This clearly mentions Jesus' age is 12 years old. There is a custom in those days, right, among Israelite people, which is even now is being followed by Jewish people. It is called as Bar Mitzvah. Bar Mitzvah means it's a celebration of a boy coming of age. As of now, in current world, it is celebrated at the age of 30. Okay, even by current traditions of Jewish people. Bar mitzvah is for a boy child and bat mitzvah for a girl child. So one of the assumptions or one of the things that has been discussed is maybe during that point of time, the parents of Jesus took them, right, to celebrate or to celebrate the bar mitzvah of Jesus, to coming of age of Jesus, right? What does this actually mean? As I said, right, bar means bar mitzvah is for boys and bat mitzvah for girls. Bar means boy and bat means girl. Mitzvah means under law, under commandment. Whatever that you do before this age is parents' responsibility. Any sin, anything that you do, right, becomes parents' responsibility. But once you cross this bar mitzvah age, it is the child or the boy's responsibility for his own actions. What are the sins that he is taking, right? It is his own responsibility. Think about it, right? During those days, it is the age of 12 or 13, a boy or girl is considered to take his responsibility of his own actions. Here, we are living in a world where 18 is considered as a legal age. Even then, people don't take care of their own responsibility or their own actions. So, whatever be it, right? It is the responsibility of the parents to raise the child right, until the age where he needs to take his own responsibility for his own sins or his own good deeds or whatever be it, right. That's this one of the reasons could be where they are taking as a custom Jesus to this festival, right, to commemorate this Bar Mitzvah festival. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we should not allow young people to take or assume their own autonomy, right? Young people, right, before their age, whichever they take care of their own actions, that should not dictate family's decision. Parents should take the family's decisions, right? Only after a certain age, when the child takes care of their own responsibility and actions, only then they get to participate in family decisions. Children doesn't get to decide whether we need to go to church or not. Children doesn't need to decide whether they have to go to a specific church or not, or to any other good deeds that they are doing, and the parents are doing. No, children should not do that, right? It is parents' responsibility to take action on that. Only after a certain age, children get to participate in those family decisions. Until then, we being a parent to take or should take all the responsibility for all their actions as such, right? Considering the age, right? Now it is 18 or more, right? Even then, whatever the scripture that has been written over that period in Old Testament still applies in today's world, right? And then the scripture proceeds on that says, after the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. When you read this scripture, right, it seems like Mother Mary and Joseph is not is like careless, right, in leaving out a child for almost a day, and then did not even care for him, and then only after a day they found him. That he is not with them, right? It's not like that. During those days, when people travel from one place to another, they always travel in groups. Also, when they will travel in groups, right, men will travel in a separate group and women will travel in a separate group, right? And also children also in a separate group or along with the men or with the women. So there might be a high possibility these two parents travel separately in their own groups, considering that Jesus was with the other parent. But at the end of the day, when they meet, right, that's when they came to know that Jesus is not with them, right? This brings back some kind of incidents, right? When somebody asks you to take care of their belongings, right? Say there are a lot of incidents that you guys might be encountered in your past experience, where in airport or in a train station or in a bus stand, right? Some people will ask you to take, can you please make sure that my belongings stays there, and I'll be gone for a little moment for a refresh, right? We used to take care of our belongings very casually. Whereas when somebody says that, right, take care of that just take care of my belongings for a short moment of time, that will take like an hour. So we used to stare at that belongings for so many minutes, right, so that nobody takes care of it. It's looting us, right? Even a small 5 minutes will feel like an hour, right? Think about this situation, right, where Mother Mary and Joseph has lost a child, not only their son. This is the son of the God which they have been entrusted upon to deliver and bring him to adulthood in this age. They did not lose their one son, but they lost the Son of God. Think about that mentality. So they were traveling, right? They traveled one day without knowing it, and then they traveled one more day, right, alone, back to Jerusalem to find out Jesus. So after 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. So this is where Jesus is being found, in the temple courts, among the teachers and the elders, asking. And Jesus was asking them questions, right? They were so amazed at his knowledge, at his maturity, at his young age as such. So generally, as I mentioned, right, Bar Mitzvah is a custom followed in Israel people, followed by, as mentioned in their book called as Torah. Torah is the first 5 books from Old Testament that is combined together called as Torah. So as part of that, the rabbi or the elders will used to ask questions onto the children whether they understand the judgments or the commandments that is being mentioned in Torah, right? So this is nothing but an equivalent of confirmation in our current world. So the same thing, right? Bar mitzvah is same as confirmation. So the rabbi or the elders used to question the child to make sure whether they understand it or not. Now this is in reverse. Jesus is asking questions to all these elders or the teachers with the questions that is amazed, right? All these elders who are well versed in this book called as Torah, right? And these are the similar people who question the adult Jesus when he is raising a lot of questions. When he is in young age, people get amazed, whereas when he becomes adult, right? These are the same similar kind of people who make sure that he is crucifixed and then being hanged in the cross. So the timing matters, right? The childhood people will always encourage you, whereas the same questions when you start asking in the adult, right? Even though it's the right questions, they will get offended, right? And then automatically, right, after all these things, right, the parenting kicks in Mother Mary. She's asking, child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father, I have been looking for you anxiously. Even in Tamil, right, it says, Nangal Kavalai Patulum. So the word anxiously or Kavalai Patulum is very understated, right? As I said earlier, this is like after 3 days, Mother Mary is finding him. So these 3 days, right, it could refer to the future that Jesus is going through, right, where he will be died in cross on day 1 and he will be resurrected and risen from the dead, right, on day 3. This might be one of the indications that he has clearly mentioned in his childhood. On day 3, he was found out by the parents. And then Jesus, right, he simply says, right, in a simple sentence, why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house? When you look at this particular verse, right, it looks like a blank statement to their parents from a child who is like not obedient, right? He's simply saying, don't you know that I've been with my Father? Are you not even aware of it? Don't you have even that common sense that I'll be with my Father? It's not like that, right? When you try to search through all those kind of hidden meanings behind this sentence, right? It indicates 2 things, right? One, it indicates Jesus is well aware that he is the Son of God, right? He knows that he is the Son of God. There is no one else that needs to remind him, or the Father himself doesn't need to remind Jesus that he is the Son of God. He himself knows that he is Son of God. This indicates that he is the Son of God, right? The second most important thing is that, right, he wants to make sure his parents remind, right, or remember that he is the Son of God first before he is Son of Mother Mary or Joseph. So he wants to make sure that parents are aware, even though he is brought up in the structure that he has created for himself in the family structure, even though he is obedient, even though he is following all the rules and regulations that he has put forth for a common man. It's not like that, right? He is still a Son of God that his parents want. He wants to have his parents reminded of. And then the verse continues saying that, right? But they did not understand what he was saying to them. This once again proves that the parents are not understanding what Jesus is saying, right? Jesus is saying that I am with my Father. Here the Father refers to the God, right? Himself. It's not Joseph or anyone else for that matter. And still, right, when Jesus is uttering these words, they are not able to understand, he's staying with his Father. What does he mean by that, right? This is one of the proving point that reminds them, saying that this is a reminder for the family or to anyone who is known to Jesus that he is the Son of God, not an ordinary man as such. And also,